What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today I'm going to show you guys just how easy it is to level out new soil and also lay some new grass. So let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do this. Alright guys, so the first thing you need to do is get some good quality soil. So by that I mean you're either putting a top dressing or an underlay, which is basically the exact same thing. It's a set ratio of sand to soil, so that's going to go through and allow your new grass to grow its roots nice and easy. Now when you throw the bulk of the soil down here, you just want to level it out just roughly with the back of a rake. And so just take the back of the rake. Doesn't really matter if it's not 100% level, you just want to get the bulk of it out there and roughly spread out. And now the secret weapon here that you really need to get is one of these things. This is going to save your day, save your back. It's going to make things so much easier. We're right next to a main freeway here, so it's going to be a little bit noisy. This thing here is definitely worth its money. It's called a soil leveler. Okay, this one here is going to allow you to get a perfect level every single time. So just simply drag it behind you, walk all the way through, and you can see the difference right there. Go back over the top. That's going to pick up any of those high spots and fill up the low spots, and you can see how much nicer that is, and it doesn't take much effort whatsoever. We've got about 200 square meters that we're doing here, so just overlap it once again. Bring it again all the way through. Now this works best if the soil is dry. In this particular case, it was a little bit moist overnight. We had a little bit of rain, so it's a little bit harder to spread out, but this thing here is going to save your day. You can see just how much easier that is, especially if you were trying to compare it with a rake. Now, with this particular job here, this one's going to be a very quick video because we've got 200 square meters, which isn't too much, but we need to get it out in the next couple of hours. So once you've got your soil all nice and level and you're happy with the leveling, it's time to lay your grass. Alright, so to lay the turf is super simple. You just want to simply run it in full lengths, and what you want to do is stagger the joints. Now the reason why you want to stagger the joints, which I'll show you guys in a second, two reasons. Number one is if you lay your grass on a slope and it happens to rain, if you've got all your joints in one line, it's just going to simply run all down that hill. You wake up in the morning and find your grass in a big pile at the bottom of the hill. Number two is to allow everything to mesh in and grow into one another. So if you've got a one straight line for your joints, you're going to always see that joint. It's going to take a lot longer for it to be aesthetically pleasing. So you simply want to stagger it. Now you take your roll, bring one edge hard up against to one side, and you always want to start furthest away from where your pile of grass is, and that's just simply to make it easier to work from the back, coming towards the front. Once you've got your grass at the back here, you simply roll it out, and then you want to adjust everything. So don't be shy, you're going to get a little bit dirty. Grab the grass nice and tight, slip that right into the back corner like this. Push it all nice and tight. Once you're happy with it, you can move over to your next roll. So once again, with our next roll, bring that hard up against to the other side, roll it all out, and then adjust everything. Spend a little bit of time putting everything nice and tight. That'll help everything establish a lot quicker and mesh in all in one go. Now once you get to the second set or your second run, I'll show you guys what we do to start our second row. So with the second row, remembering we said we wanted to stagger the joint, our first piece ended right here. So our next piece, we're going to end it somewhere in the middle. That means we need to make a cut. So we'll roll out our grass. Easiest way is with a shovel. Just simply cut the grass like that. You can roll this section here back up, put it on a side, and we'll use that one later on. Push it all in nice and tight to one another. And then we're going to take a full piece and we're going to continue on along here. So like I said, this one here is going to be a quicker video, so I'm going to quickly start rolling out the rest of this grass here. Once we get to these tougher corners right here, anything that we might find in the way, I'll do a quick little video and show you guys how to cut that as well. All right, so with this section here, we've got a tight area. You can see we've got a slight overlap, which means we need to cut the width of this one here down. And also we've got our 2 pipes right here, so we need to cut around this. So what I've done is just simply laid everything down, push it up against the side here. I'm gonna take my shovel once again, and we're just gonna go along the edge here. You can see where the edge of the grass is for our previous roll. So we're just gonna work along the edge of that. Any excess, you can remove it, and you can also use this for any areas that you have little tiny pockets. So you can see right here, down in front, we've got a little pocket. You can try and stretch that grass, or if you like, you can take these little bits of leftovers here, shove them all in there, press it all down, and once we wet all this grass, that's all actually going to bite and go through. So we'll continue on the edge here. You can use scissors, you can use a shovel, you can use whatever you like. This one here is closest for me now. Alright, so now we've got our width cut down to size. What we're going to do now is just cut little slots in here to get around this pipe. So we can see there's a little small area right here, which is going to be probably the hardest part to get into. Usually you can take those little offcuts that we just had, shove them in there, and that'll help. But I'm actually going to try and cut this one here down, pull this one back just a little bit, and we're just going to roughly estimate where we need to cut it. Around here looks pretty good. Same thing at the back. Just open this one here up a little bit. You can even cut those roots if you like. All right, then we stretch that grass, and we're going to slot it all in there. If you need to go down a little bit more, once again, peel that open. Push it all down, compact it nicely. The aim here is to try always your best to pat it down so that you've got contact with the soil. That way, once we wet it, everything's going to sit down nicely, and it's actually going to start to establish those roots into the soil. So that's looking pretty good there. We'll continue along. So with this tight little section here, you can either cut it into little sections and try jam it all in, or we can try and make the most of a full roll. So I'll show you guys another way that we can do this. Once again, we're starting up against the fence, so I'm just going to run it hard up against the fence. We'll roll this one here down, and the only reason why I'm doing this over the top is now I know exactly where my cut's going to be. So right along the edge of this one here. And now with the width, I'm just going to estimate it. It looks pretty good right there. Now when I'm cutting this, I'm not going all the way down, so I'm not damaging the grass that's underneath. Now we can peel this one here out. We'll roll this one here up and use it somewhere else. Whenever you want to transport it and it's laying out flat, once again, just grab it from the grass and just shuffle it along. Once again, make sure everything's sitting nice and tight. Get those edges in. Tuck everything in nicely. Alright, now we're just going to repeat the process, but just for a small little cut over here. And that's pretty much it. We repeat the process all the way throughout. Once that's done, I'll show you guys what it ends up looking like. So once it's all done, this is what it ends up looking like. Luckily we had a bit of rain come through. We're lucky for the grass anyway, because that's important. As soon as you lay the grass, make sure that you soak it with water at least twice a day for the next couple of weeks. But this here is the finished product. So it goes down very, very easy, as you guys have just seen. Would have been nice to record a little bit more, but we needed to get this job out of the way. The sun's out just for a bit now, but it just absolutely bucketed down rain. I'll quickly show you guys the side before I let you go. this is the side as well where we showed you guys how to level it out before. Everything's all nice now and flat. We're just going to let this one here establish before we cut it for the next couple of weeks. One more piece of advice that I can give you guys that I learned the hard way once again, because I always forget: make sure you empty your pockets, take your keys, your phone, everything out of your pockets, because they're going to be filled with soil. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, you've learned something new. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Billshowto.